All right. Welcome, guys. Welcome to our event. Today event is about this event actually collaboration from Bansa with Pearson, and there's a Gordon as a representative for Asian. Okay. Good morning, all Bansarians. Welcome to today's special workshop brought to you to Bansa Foundation in official collaboration with Pearson. My name is Budi Pangestu, event planner from Bansa Foundation, and I'll be your moderator to today's sessions. We're excited to have all of you here for the first batch of our exclusive PTA Academic webinar series. Today's event is titled One Test for All, Study, Work, and WFA with PTA Academic. And this workshop will guide you through how PT academic and internationally recognized English proficiency tests can be your gateway to higher education, career advancement, or a working holiday visa abroad. All right, we go to our first speaker, Gordon. Time is yours.
Selamat sore. Hello, everyone. My name is Gordon, and I'm the Pearson Test of English Client Relations Manager uh, for Indonesia. So it's a pleasure to speak with you all today. And yeah, I'm going to introduce you to the Pearson Test of English. We'll start with a little video that gives you a brief overview of what the test is and where it can take you. So when we wait for there we go. All right. So that video gives you a bit of an overview. I couldn't hear the music, but that's okay. You can read the subtitles at the bottom. And what that did is gives you a little bit of an overview of some of the advantages of the test I'm going to discuss today. So you saw words like fair and fast in there. And that's why we can describe the PT as the English test without the stress. Now, I think I would argue that all English tests have stress. I don't think we can claim it's completely without the stress, but we try and reduce the stress. And those keywords of fast, so not waiting around a long time to get your results, the fact that the PTE test results come back in under 48 hours is one of our key messages and one of the reasons why we see it growing in popularity around the world. The other key reason is fair. So we use an AI marking engine to mark your speaking, your writing, and all parts of the test. What that does is remove the chance of human bias. So the fact that you'll be judged on something other than your English. So we call it the fast and fair English test for work, study, and live abroad. So those are the opportunities that will open for you. If you can see here, we have a little badge at the top. We're accepted by the governments of Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK for all visa types. So that's the work or live abroad part. And then we're also accepted in the USA by nursing bodies. So if anyone's in healthcare and looking at taking maybe working as a nurse or a doctor or a physician in the US, Many of the nursing boards from different states accept PTE, so it's a popular use case as well. And then study is a big one. So anyone who wants to study in another country, we're accepted by thousands of universities worldwide. So yeah, PT Academic, I'm going to try and tell you today why it's the English test. Maybe not without the stress, but with reduced stress, and it might be the right option for you when you look to study, work, or live abroad. We're really proud to be doing this webinar with the PTE certified partners, Bansa Foundation in Indonesia. They've been our top partner for many years in Indonesia for both offering PT prep and purchasing or booking your test through certified and recognized PT partner. And I'll touch on that later. When you look to book your test or where you look to study for your PTE, we have some important certifications in place that you should always look for so you don't get taken advantage of, right? The more PT becomes popular in the Indonesian market, the more there's bad players maybe who you want to avoid. So we have a certification system and top partners like Bansa Foundation and Best Partner are some of our key partners and you should look for their certification to work with those partners as you look to sit the PT. Next slide, please. So the PTE is very simply, it's a computer-based language test that people use for study or migration purposes. So in that regard, we're very similar to, say, an IELTS or a TOEFL test in that were used for the same purposes. And what separates PTE is it's faster, fairer, and more secure. And we have the unique feature of being the first 100% computer-based test. Now there's other computer-based tests on the market, but we're also the first one and the only one still that's 100% computer marked, meaning it's more fair and more fast. Next slide, please. Oh, did we skip one? Skip back. Yeah, there we go.
Hi.
Oh,
Right.
no problem. Yeah, so I mentioned you can use PTE for study, work, or migration around the globe. Here's just a snippet of it. You looked at 100% of universities in Canada, USA, yeah, and then here's some of the top universities from around the world where you can utilize your PTE to apply. So some of you might be looking at some of these schools, if not any of these popular destination schools. Thousands of others recognize PTE. Other popular use cases, as I said, work, migration, visas like a work holiday visa, very popular for that because of this low score range and the fast score return time. So you want to be able to take a test that you can sit and get your score back fast. Next slide, please. Yeah, so if you want to sit the PTE, it's a really simple process. You can either go through a partner like Bansa Foundation, or you can go to our website and you can book online, access preparation resources to make sure you can get prepared. I'll touch on that more later. Then you sit the test. Scores back under 2 business days or under 48 hours. And then you can immediately start providing your results to institutions once your scores are ready, and unlimited institutions. We don't charge for sending off scores to schools, and you get unlimited sends. So that's the really streamlined, simple process for booking and sitting a PT test. And you can book just 24 hours into advance if there's test dates open during that window. Next slide, please. We have a growing test center network around the globe, 450 plus test centers. We operate in 115 different countries. So it truly is a global test, globally recognized and offered globally. Next slide. We have 4 test centers in Indonesia, in Jakarta, Tangerang, Surabaya, and Pontianak, and hoping to expand even more to make greater access to testing for Indonesian students. So particularly these days, we've had capacity issues. We apologize for that, but we're always looking to open up more test seats, especially as the demand rises very quickly in Indonesia. We're hoping to provide more seats to meet that demand. But you can go to the website or talk to your booking agent, and they'll try and find the nearest, most convenient test date for you in Indonesia. Next slide, please. If you haven't sat a PT before, this is what it looks like. You go to one of our secure test centers. Make sure you arrive 30 minutes early because there is a check-in process where you do a palm vein scan. You put your possessions in a locker. You got to sign the agreement that basically just says, I won't cheat on the exam or help other people cheat. And then you sit the full 2-hour exam in one of our secure test centers. So you're in a cubicle like that, and there's an administrator there to help you should you run into any issues during your tests. Yeah, so that's basically where it is. And, the nice thing, you can do it all in one 2-hour sitting, right? There's no coming back for a speaking interview, waiting around for that. So it's just one and done process. Next slide, please. Here's a little video you can watch about what it's like to sit the PT on test day. Okay, we might, yeah, you got the subtitles at the bottom. I can narrate it. So this is one of the students. So saying again, arrive 30 minutes before your test time is what she's describing there. Yeah, if you're late and you don't miss your check-in, then you can't, it's considered a missed test. All right, they don't let you into the room if you're 5 minutes or 2 minutes late. Bring your passport. So valid ID, we say, but the passport is the best valid ID. And if you're using something else, please check first. The other important thing is when you create your MyPT account, make sure the name you create that account with matches the name that is on your official ID. We're starting to stress that more and more. We didn't stress that a lot, but it's a very important point. We saw test takers getting sent home on test day because they'd entered a nickname, say, into creating their MyPT ID, didn't realize that that's used to match them with the person who's coming on test day. Yeah, you'll get some rules to read through. So, and then sign something that says you're going to agree to adhere to those rules. And that's what this girl's going through now. Yeah. Do a digital signature, make sure it matches. Then they slide your passport in, it's a bit like going through customs when you fly at the airport internationally. It feels quite a bit like that. You do a palm vein scan, kind of like fingerprinting, but there's actually more details. Digital photograph that will show up on your score report. And that's to make sure that you didn't send someone in your place to sit the test for you. You have to put your possessions in a locker, and you will go through sort of this very safe and respectful security check beforehand. You got to make sure that you're not bringing cameras, cell phones, that sort of thing. The girls, you can see she's lifting her hair. That's to make sure you don't have like answers or tips written on a little sheet before you. You do get erasable notepad and erasable pens going in. So you do have the ability to do things like note taking when you're listening. And these are skills you should be working on when you go to sit the exam. before you go and sit the exam. Things like listening and taking notes. So that is a skill you should be building. Okay, then you go and you sit the whole test in 1 2 hour setting. As I mentioned, when you're done, you can raise your hand and be allowed out by the administrator, get your stuff from the secure locker, and you're done. Now, she will talk about, yeah, so it's good to know what you're expecting before you go and sit the PT test. You can watch these type of videos on YouTube. Beyond just preparing to sit the test and building your English skills, it's also very important to know what it's like on test day when you go to sit the PT. Oh, I can hear the music now. Yeah, and then 1 day later, she got her score and she got her successful PT score. So that's important. Yeah, this is where you can find out where the nearest test center is. So you go to our website, or again, if you're working with a booking agent, they'll be able to do this for you and open up where our different tests are in. So just let me run through for ILF and Serpong. So Universitas Tanjung Pura and Pontianak and Kelt in Surabaya are test centers, and then Multimatics in South Jakarta just open. But you'll get the address and map when you book your test. Next slide, please. What's the test look like? Well, it is all 4 skills: speaking, writing, reading, and listening, just like any other high stakes test. And it is, as I mentioned, approximately 2 hours to finish the whole test. We can integrate skills in PT because we use the AI marking. So you can be doing one question that's actually marking your speaking and your listening at the same time. So that's another unique feature of PT, that you're using language in an authentic way. You're not using it in isolation. You're using 2 skills, and 2 skills are being measured at once. So that also makes PT unique. That's one of the reasons why governments and universities like it. Is it's a little more because of the AI marking. We can simulate how language is used and assess how language is used in real life, which is in not in isolation, but integrated skills. Here's the 20 item types that make up the PT. I'll just read through them really quickly. Read aloud, repeat sentence, describe image, retell lecture, and answer short questions. These 5 are predominantly speaking, though there may be some listening and some reading measured in there as well, but they're predominantly all speaking item types that will go towards your speaking score. And you can see, depending on your test format, everyone will get a different test format, but I might get 6 or 7 read alouds. So I might have 6, the person next to me might have 7 read alouds. Then they might have 12 repeat sentences and I might have 10, right? So slightly different formats for each test taker, but in the end, it all goes to score your overall score and your speaking skills. Some important things to remember when you're looking at a computer-based test. Okay, we use authentic content. So what that means is when you're doing listening, it's not actors. You're listening to podcasts. You're listening to recorded lectures. So the listenings are set up like that to be authentic content. They're not all one accent. It's not all American. It's not UK. You'll hear Aussie. You'll hear UK. So it's a bit more reflective of what our world looks like now. We now live in quite a global village, and that's sort of what the PT reflects. If you go and work in Australia, you're not only going to hear people speaking in Australian accents. So my head office is in Australia, and I work with people who are, English speakers from China, UK. My boss is from the UK living in Australia. I'm a Canadian living in Bangkok, right? So you'll hear accents from all over, just as you would if you studied and worked there. Important, you only get 1 attempt at each question, and for listening item types, you only get to listen once, right? So that's very important to know before you go in, because you'll build skills and strategies. And as I mentioned, Vansa Foundation has certified teachers who if you study to PT prep with them, they'll be able to give you all these tips and more. You'll need a bit deeper knowledge before you go and confidently sit, but we have great partners like Bansa Foundation who have been through the PTE certified teacher training course. They're badged and trained teachers, so they really have that deep knowledge of the test to get you prepared. And the item types I showed you, all 20 item types, they've been through a course where they do a deep dive on each of those item types, telling you how to approach each question. Here's some classroom activities to build the skills. So yeah, Bansa Foundation is my top recommendation for who you should be studying with in Indonesia if you want to prepare to sit the PT test. I'm just giving you a really brief overview today, but yeah, here's just some brief ones. One attempt at each question. You can only move forward, so unlike a paper-based test, you can't be like, I'll skip it and come back, right? Yeah, you can't do that on a computer-based test. So if you can just go back the two more. Yeah, it's time monitored, so you'll be pushed forward in some questions automatically, but in other ones you'll need to monitor your own time. And as I mentioned, you have an erasable notepad and pen, so building those listening and note-taking skills are really important before you go and sit the exam, so you can take advantage of that note-taking resource that you have to score maximum points. Next, please. Here's some of the item types. So this is a reading one. Just give you some examples. Reorder paragraph. So understanding how text is structured, looking at connecting words and putting text together that's out of order. So that understanding how you structure a paragraph with an introduction, supporting argument, and conclusion. Right. That sort of pre-knowledge will help you score really well on this type of reading item type. As I mentioned, we have lots of resources that we offer online to prepare for these, but the best is to go to an expert, go to teachers who have been trained to prep people for PT. Yeah, that's the best way to approach it. Next, please. Here's another item type. Here's listening and listening and reading at the same time. So you're going to listen, you're going to follow along to the text, maybe using your finger or your cursor to follow along. And then you're supposed to highlight the incorrect word. So if we can play that, I don't know how well it will be heard. Oops.
I think the importance of creativity today really reflects a fundamental shift in the nature of the economy.
Right. So
in the old days,
shift, he said, rather you pause it there. That's enough.
Manufacturing.
So he said shift instead of rift, so I would highlight that with my cursor. Now, as I mentioned, there's lots of little tips to help you improve, and people like Bansa Foundation are well situated to give it because they've gone through the teacher training, but there's two ways you can approach this item type. Some might be confident enough that they can highlight everything as they go. Others might lose their place. So what I do in this one is I use my erasable whiteboard. And when I see rift and I hear shift, I would write that shift really quickly and then continue to follow along. And then I'd go back afterwards and highlight all the mistakes I've written in my notes. That would be my approach. But I mean, some people can do it as they go. Others might want to write it and then go back and put it in after. So you do have that different approaches and different skills. But just getting those tips in order and practices in order before you sit are really useful. Next, please. This is what your score report back. So you get your scores back under 48 hours. As I mentioned, you'll have your overall score, all 4 communicative skills. So some places you might be applying for, all they'll ask for is an overall score. Some ask for an overall score and also say oh, you have to have at least this in listening, reading, speaking, and writing, or sometimes they just isolate 2 skills. But so that's how the PT is laid out to meet the score requirements of our government and university partner. Scores are valid for 2 years, like the other high stakes test, and we align to CFR, TOEFL, and IELTS. Next, please. The other thing we do with PT is if you sit a scored practice test or a real test, you get this back called a skills profile. So it actually digs a little deeper into each of these listening, reading, speaking, and writing. So if you've done the practice test just to get ready to sit the actual PTE, we have a unique practice test that's a mirror image of the actual test and gives you a full score report back in 20 minutes after you sit it from home. That's because of the AI. We can use the same AI marking engine to mark your speaking, writing, reading, and listening. Yeah, and what both tests do is they give you this further breakdown, the skills profile. So 8 language categories rather than the 4. And so you can see, oh, okay, I did poorly on extended speaking. That's where I need to focus my energy if you didn't get the score you need and you need to resit it. So that's who this is for, or those who have done the practice test. Gives you a roadmap to improve. Next, and then even further, we go on that by giving test taker recommendations. So we actually tell you how you can study and improve for next time. So those are both unique features that we give with the PT score report. And these are learning objectives and how you can work on them to improve. And they're taken right from the Global Scale of English, which is what we mark your PT exam using. Next page, please. Yeah, as I mentioned, we aligned to CFR, TOEFL, and IELTS. One nice thing about PTEs compared to the CFR and the IELTS is it's more granular. We have a 10 to 90 scale, so you can see sort of in this, let's say it's an IELTS 8.0, PT 84, right? So that falls in the C1, but we have a lot of other scores that, a lot of other score points before or after that sort of IELTS or CFR score that fall within that. So there's more flexibility to give an easier score for PT or a more difficult. Always check the institution you're applying to, because these are just our recommendations, but different governments, different institutions will set their scores differently for how they align it. So you should always check what your goal score is and know your goal score before you go and sit the PT. So like I'm applying for these 3 universities in Australia. That's why I'm sitting the PT. They all accept PT sort of at different scores between 54 and 58. So that's my score range. My score goal is 58. Right? That's how you want to look at it. Next page, please. Rough guide of what you might need for different schools. This is just roughly what we see. MBA programs might ask for a PT 59 to 69, postgrad 57 to 67, undergraduates could be lower at 51 to 61, but then there's much lower uses like PT 30 is what you need for work holiday visa. So it's not as a high score bar at all for some visas and some use cases. Vocational programs can be quite low, 36, 41, and so on. Next page, please. Right, so ways to prepare. If you decide you want to try the PT, it's the right test for you, or you've done another test and not got your score a couple times, try something different. So we have videos and test tips on our website, so you can watch those, what to expect from PT. They're very useful for familiarizing yourself. I mentioned before, the best way to prepare is to get specialist help. Find an organization in your country that has PT preparation courses. Bansa Foundation is a great example. They've gone through the badge teacher training, so they're very well prepared to assist you, and they're certified and recognized by PT as trainers. And not just one teacher; they've had many teachers go through our PT teacher training course. So as far as I've seen in Indonesia, that's the best bet you would have, because they careful to always follow what's happening with PT. They know the test structure inside out. They've done the teacher training, so they know all the skills and tips and resources to help you be prepared your best. Take an online scored practice test, another great way to prepare. There is a fee for it, but it's well worth it. It's far cheaper than the actual test, and it's a mirror image of the actual test. Not only does it show you what score you're likely going to get or close to what score you're going to get on the actual test, because it marks all 4 skills and all 20 item types using the same AI marking engine. Just the experience is very good to mimic what it's going to be like when you sit the actual test. You know the order the item types are coming in, and you know how to approach each one. So even the transitions between item types, it will help you with. Next. And this is a quick little, if you want to scan that, it's our PT Taster. It just gives you 5 item types. So if you scan that QR code, it should open on your screen. It should open the PT Taster, which is like a 5 PT item types that you can just try. I think they're just listening and reading ones, fill in the blanks. Really simple ones that you can use to sort of get a sense of a couple of the PT item types and what they're like. So fun little way to just try it out quickly on your own for free. Next. We also have a great new dedicated part of our website. So you need to create a MyPT account, which you'll need when you book your test anyways. And then there's a section called Smart Prep, and Smart Prep is where we put all our preparation resources, free and premium, meaning paid, in one place. So it's our preparation platform. When you create a MyPT account, you sign into that account, you'll see this at the top of the screen. You click on that and it will take you to Smart Prep that has great resources to help you prepare. Or say you're preparing with a place like Bansa Foundation, it's always a good idea to do some self-study as well, right? They're not going to be able to get you, they'll get you close to there, but it's also good to do your own prep. And this is a great way to do individualized prep, even if you're in a course on your free time to get ready. Next page. Smart Prep has things like video courses, 5 guided practice tests. These are free, so these take you through each item type in the order they appear on the test. You get to try it, and then you get to listen to a sample answer, right? Right, test formats, videos. You also get, what do you call it? Test tip documents, which are really useful. So for each item type, they say, hey, here's our useful tips for approaching this question. They're like little tricks. So there's 2 ways to prepare, I like to think. One is you improve your English skills that are being measured in each item type. That's what someone like Bansa Foundation will really help you do. That's something you can do by studying English on your own. And then there's little tips. These are the little tricks almost that will help you just improve your score a little bit or not give away easy marks. And so those are really useful, those test tip documents. And then we have our premium resources, things like Question Bank, Official Guide to PT, which is a textbook, and scored practice tests, which are really useful. You do have to pay for these, but they're great resources as well to support you, especially if you're doing a fully self-study route. You might need that extra support. Next page, please. Yeah, and we also have now this step-by-step study plan. So this actually gives you a full plan on Smart Prep. Says, hey, here's how best you can prepare to sit your PTE. This is what you should do first. This is what you should do next. Then watch this video. Then take a guided mock test. And it sort of gives it to you as like a logical and sequenced path to prepare. Next, please. Yeah, follow us on our socials if you want to know more about PTE, Facebook, Instagram. They're Pearson languages, so they're all our ELL, but you'll get PTE specific updates if you follow those. Next, please. Let's do a little the Bansa Foundation PT quiz, mate. since Australia is still where we're most popular. So, question number one, and you can write your answers in chat, please. See how well you've been listening. I know I speak pretty fast, so my apologies if you didn't catch it. But question number one, if you just click, it should come up. Sorry, Bundi, if you can click
Uh,
on the
all
screen.
right, all right.
I think just click on the screen and it should pop. Yeah. 95% of PT test results are returned under what time? 95% of our test results come back how fast? You can type it in the, if you're on the call. Yes, I did very well. You were the first one. 48 hours is correct. Click again. I think the answer should come up. Yeah, 48 hours and 2 days. Very well done, Adib. Yeah, less than 48 hours. Yeah, very good. Next question. If you click again, it will come up. For listening tasks, how many times is the test taker allowed to listen to the audio? For listening tasks, how many times can I listen to the audio? One time only. Yes, Mr. Ryan. Very good. You should be excluded because you're the ultimate PT expert in Indonesia. Unfair. And yeah, click on that once. That's correct. And div again. And final question. What should I look for when deciding where to buy my PT test or prepare? Touched on this a few times. When I want to prepare to sit PT, yeah, look for, well, Bansa Foundation, yeah. Bansa Foundation, why an organization like Bansa Foundation? That's right. They have two, and if you click again, click one more time. These are the two certifications. One for prep. Teachers who have the Credly badge means they've gone through our teacher training course, which every instructor at Bansa Foundation has. So before you go sit a PT course, make sure that your teachers you're learning from have this certification. That means they've trained with PTE to be certified PT trainers. So it's just a sign of the quality of the training you're going to get. As I mentioned, the more popular PT gets, there's people saying, oh, I'll run a PT course, but they don't actually really know much about PT. They've never sat themselves, they've never done training, right? So what this badge does is allows you to separate those who are qualified from those who are not. Bansa has this widely with their teachers. The other one is maybe you're just looking to book your PT test or you want to buy a voucher from someone in the market to sit the PT test, right? This is the other important certification. This is PT Partners, and Bansa Foundation is our only four-star Bansa Foundation and Best Partner are our only four-star PT partners in Indonesia, right? We have other partners. Bansa Foundation has earned the four-star by being, the most productive and the most reliable. So that's why they have this. So very good to look for both of these. This one for prep, this certification for if you want booking and purchase vouchers. It's a sign that they're certified by PTE, recognized by PTE, and work directly with us as prep and reseller partners. So that's what I'll close on. Thanks so much for your time and attention. Very good luck if you go and sit the PTE. And as I mentioned, we're really happy to be doing this with Bansa Foundation and Best Partner. You are in good hands when you study PTE or book PTE with Bansa. So thank you very much and good luck to you.
All right. Thank you, Gordon, for your comprehensive, interesting presentation. And next we have our session about from our academic director, who will explain Forrest Ryan, and he is the professional in PT preparation and also with another experience for teacher. Sir, y- you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will over to you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Budi, and thank you so much, Gordon, for the interesting presentation. It's very up to date, and also, it's very important for everybody to know that PTE and Pearson themselves, prepare a lot of things, a lot of supports for test takers, which is, by the way, like the prep center thing. It's free. You can access it, by yourself, everybody, and then you can also, experience the test. The test is very different because you don't have to meet people. I would say to my students that this test itself, it's a test that is rightly fit with introverts because you don't have to meet with people. You have to just see computers in front of you, and then you just have to deal with the questions that is already shown in the screen. So it's very, I would say, introvert friendly test. And it's nice to know that because sometimes in my experience, when I took the test in IELTS or maybe in another test that I've ever taken in my life, usually when I met with the examiner, then all of that training and preparation is just out of the window. So PTE is very rightly so another option for everybody here if you feel that you are more confident in just taking the test personally and more personalized to you. Okay. Nah, so basically yang mau saya ceritakan di sini ke teman-teman juga itu adalah kenapa harus PTE-nya mungkin sudah dijelaskan sama Gordon, tapi ini lebih kepada kayak kepentingan dari teman-teman yang ada di sini. And I think most of you here wanted to prepare for your working holiday visa, dan that's itu memang udah trennya, dan itu memang juga apa yang sudah teman-teman kejar juga untuk jangka waktu yang dekat ini ya. And if everybody in this platform knows that WHV will soon open, working holiday visa itu akan open segera. Segeranya kapan ya, mungkin bisa jadi bulan depan atau 2 bulan lagi. Nah, kita nggak pernah tahu karena kita belajar dari yang pembukaan yang tiba-tiba sebelumnya kan. Jadi you have to prepare it, you have to prepare it right now because you never know when it's going to come and when it's going to get you, because we don't have the control of the information. Tapi kalau dari sarannya saya itu adalah bulan ini udah disiapin, jadi supaya nanti akhir bulan Juli ataupun nanti pertengahan Juli kalian udah prepare untuk ngambil tesnya. Remember, it only takes 30 in PTE. Kalian hanya butuh skor 30 to change your life, to make your life better in Australia. And I don't know, with the condition in our country dan juga kondisi dunia saat ini kan, I think it's best for you. Dan juga sudah diarahkan juga sama kementerian kita agar kita yang mungkin belum ada kerjaan dan seterusnya yang sudah sarjana atau mungkin yang sudah diploma ini ya disarankan untuk keluar negeri karena di negeri kita sendiri kan untuk pekerjaannya masih kurang katanya. So udah mendapatkan wejangan dan juga udah mendapatkan ini ya some sort of I would say enlightenment. Jadi silahkan pergi, tapi syaratnya apa? Ya English. And one of the solution and the best solution for me as an English teacher yang sudah mengajar hampir 13 tahun, ya ambil PTE karena itu cepat. Satu cepat, nggak ribet juga, dan kalian kalau yang nggak senang ketemu sama manusia, ya ini bagus untuk kalian karena ini cocok untuk introvert. And then the last one, definitely hasil tesnya itu bisa keluar dalam waktu 48 jam. Okay. I had that experience with my students before. Jadi student saya ada yang baru-baru ini dapat hasil tesnya. Dia ngerjain tesnya itu jam 8 pagi dan dia dapatkan hasil tesnya itu early morning keesokan harinya. Jadi sekitaran jam 8 sampai jam 9 itu. Jadi even less than 48 hours sudah keluar hasilnya. And I have seen that by myself. Dan bahkan saya pribadi sendiri sudah mengambil hasil tesnya, sudah mengambil tesnya sendiri di awal tahun lalu 2024. Dan itu hasil tesnya itu saya dapatkan itu literally less than 24 hours. Karena saya ngambil tesnya pagi jam 8, selesai mungkin jam 11-an gitu. Dan after that, I got the result around 12 to 12:30-ish. Jadi jam 12 sampai jam 12:30 udah keluar. Nah, kenapa penting? Karena sekali lagi, WHV itu kita nggak tahu kapan. Nah, kalau ngambil IELTS, bukannya menjelekkan IELTS, but IELTS itu dia butuh waktu 13 hari. Although kalaupun misalnya mau ngambil yang computer base itu masih hitungan 1 mingguan juga. Karena hitungannya kan jam kerja untuk keluar hasil tesnya. So for now the best solution untuk teman-teman yang ngejar WHP ataupun mungkin ada yang ngejar beasiswa juga karena LPDP juga udah terima PTI juga. Nah, ini solusi yang cepat kalau memang teman-teman mau cepat hasil tesnya keluar. Karena same with scholarship, sama juga dengan WHP, kalau tidak ada bahasa Inggris, jangan sekali-sekali ngomong untuk, aku mau ngambil WHP, ya bahasa Inggrisnya ada nggak? Itu dulu, karena itu salah satu kunci pembuka untuk bisa meng-unlock that potential and that opportunity to travel abroad and then to change your life. Ya, seperti itu. And this will be my message to everyone as well. Pergi ke luar negeri itu bukan untuk gaya-gayaan, tapi itu memang untuk merubah hidup dan juga untuk memperluas koneksi. Karena koneksi kita di Indonesia ini kurang luas rasanya. Memang harus keluar, you have to go out. Kalau teman-teman di sini ada yang beragama Islam, ada alasannya kenapa Nabi Muhammad itu hijrah. Kalau misalnya dia nggak hijrah, itu nggak akan ada Islam itu. Jadi hijrah itu bisa diartikan sebagai it's an opportunity to travel somewhere to find another perspective, to find another opportunities. Karena kalau kita tahu opportunities di sini udah tidak ada, ngapain kita stay? Find another one. Kalau kita stay, keburu tua, nanti udah tua, yang ada hanya penyesalan. It's only a regret when you're growing older. So what can you do? Kan gitu kan? Nah, you have the opportunity, dunia masih belum perang, hampir perang sih. Tinggal tunggu ada orang yang pencet tombol merah. Tapi sebelum ada yang mencet tombol merah, silakan coba dulu WHP-nya untuk tahun ini. Karena masih belum perang, jadi masih aman. Ya, alright. So that's my last message to everybody. And this also marks my last appearance. Karena untuk bulan ini, saya akan, ini adalah bulan terakhir saya bekerja bersama Bansa Foundation. Jadi untuk kedepannya saya akan serahkan kepada tim saya yang terbaik di sini. Ada Miss Siti, ada Mr. Adib, dan juga teman-teman yang ada di sini yang dari Bansa dan juga dari Best Partner. So this will be my last appearance with them. And if you have any questions or maybe you want to reach out on me, you can always find me in my Instagram and also in my other social media juga. So my message to everyone here, just try it. Kalau kalian nggak mencobanya, dan you never know the result. Antara resultnya berhasil atau nggak berhasil itu, that's other things. What matter is you try first. It's better to try rather than later. Kalian cuma bisa regret. Nanti kalau, coba aku begini ya, udah. Kalau kalian udah coba aku begini ya, kan udah waktunya udah lalu. Ngapain kalian harus regret lagi? So it's all about the choice that you make. Okay? All right, so that should be for me. And now I'm going to give it to Miss Siti for the in-depth training and also in-depth everything related with PTE dan bagaimana cara pengerjaan teman-teman juga. And don't worry, ini juga modelannya mix, pakai bahasa Indonesia and English, so everybody can understand, the materials, jadi supaya kita menginklusifkan pertemuan kita pada hari ini. Okay, and that will be all from me. Thanks so much, and I'll give it back to Budi. Go on, Budi.
Alright,
so much.
thank you, sir. And okay, guys, yang kita bakal buka sesi pertanyaan singkat. Buat teman-teman yang ingin menanyakan, tadi ada salah satu, kalau nggak salah ya, dari Kak Zara. Boleh raise hand-nya, Kak? Open mic.
Halo Kak, ya.
Oke, silakan Kak.
So actually, I want to ask you about before I was booking for the test for 1 July in next week. So I was like booking the test is around like middle of May last month, and then I just like after I booking the test after like 1 week that I get a email from the PTE that I have to change my schedule because it's not available for the schedule test is 1 July is 10 a.m. in 10 a.m. But when I booking that in the test is have a schedule that 10 a.m. but they want to change it because the schedule is not available that day. So after that, I still like try to think about that because I was like contact the test center, and then they was like confirm me that they are not available at the time at at around like 10 a.m. And then I was like still figure out about that. And then after that, I just get the email from the PTE person that from the PTE, they suddenly like changed my schedule. It's around like 30 September. 30 September, and I want to get the test as soon as possible because I need this for my study, for continue my master degree. And then after that, like they are suddenly changed that the test center in Australia. That's what's really shocked. It's like automatically it's a change my schedule. And then after that, like I just like open my PT my PT account, and then I just like change that to July 1 July at 8 a.m. because they just available in the test center is 8 a.m. And then the test center was like a confirm me that actually they have like a two schedule. They was like a two schedule is around like a 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. And then like after that, like I was like change it, and then the PTE also like sending me again the schedule to remind me that I have to change my schedule at 1 July. But actually it's been changed automatically before, and then I changed it again. And then like for now I just like ignore that because I already changed my schedule at 1 July 8 a.m. So what should I do? Because my test actually is 1 July. I just want to make sure that there's no problem with my test schedule. Like it's really nonsense. Like why do I always get the schedule reminder about this? About I have to change my schedule in 1 July. That I want to confirm. Like I can give you the screenshot of my email from the PTE because they asking me for change again and again, but actually I already changed it, and then they was like remind me that I have a schedule in July at 10 a.m. but they asking me to change it, but actually I already changed because when I checked in the PTE website in my account, the my schedule is being changed, and then is 1 July at a.m. So it's not gonna be problem if I mean like because it's next week is my test, but they always like give me sending like the email is like more than 3 times.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good
Yeah,
question.
thank you.
Can I ask what test center was it? Always at which test center were you scheduled, and then they rescheduled you?
I schedule in AXA Test Center, AXA Multimatics.
Oh yeah, it's
yeah,
okay,
in
Multimax,
Jakarta.
AXA,
Yeah, in
okay,
Jakarta.
and they
I was like a
and
contact the admin that time. Like I
yeah.
want to compare about my schedule because I always like get a reminder email like more than 3 times that even I already changed my schedule at 1 July at around like 8 a.m. for the test and for the test.
And it's telling you that one is canceled or not it didn't say that was canceled.
It's not canceled. It's not canceled. Like first time they give me an email for I have to change my schedule at 1 July because at 10 a.m. There's no available test schedule at the time.
Right.
So
even though you originally booked into that time, they canceled. It sounds like they canceled that test slot, which isn't good, and then rescheduled you. First, it was Australia, but then you were able to change it back to July 1st.
Yeah,
and you want to confirm that that's the official test. Can you forward that to either Bansa or you can message me directly?
Sure. I will just share about this the screenshot of the email that I always like get this email. So actually, it's really.
Don't worry about the screenshot right now. I'm gonna put my email in.
All right.
There. So if you can send me the screenshot to my email,
Sure.
and what I can do is I can follow up with customer service and just confirm for you that the July 1st, and I'll explain that you've already had it rescheduled, even though you were booked in originally. So all those details, and customer service should be able to confirm, yes, this test slot's still official, and they'll also be able to tell me why you're getting these reminders about It could be a
Yeah.
glitch in the system or something that it's still showing your original test date.
Yeah,
I'm not
actually,
sure
I
until
just
they
like
look into it, but
I already contact the customer service about this by
Hmm.
email, but there's no response until now.
I
It's been
know
like one
sometimes
month.
so if you can go through Bansa Foundation and myself, sometimes we have a more direct line to customer service because I
Right.
understand, globally it does have issues with not being responsive to students, so test takers. So yeah, do please forward that sort of queries. If you forward to Bansa and then onto myself,
Right.
I can try and go directly to our customer service team and figure out what's going on there. But yeah, the testing is always done through Pearson VUE, which is our testing arm. So there is coordination that we have to do to figure out what's going on sometimes with reschedules and so on. But yeah, I understand your concern if you've already been rescheduled and then you're getting these. So let me confirm it that it is July 1st, and then you can rest easy that that's the time you have scheduled in. And also if there's something that's triggering those messages that are making you worried about the test time not about it not being confirmed, then we can also try and stop triggering those that are coming to you. So yeah, please forward to my email directly or through Vansa, and we'll work that out for you, just to
Yeah, you're right.
confirm it's set.
All right. Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope that answer your question, Kak.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
Thank
go to
you.
the next session. There is Miss Siti, a certified tutor from Bansa, and we will. Time is yours, Miss.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry. Woody, can you make me a host so I can share my screen?
All right, give me a second.
Yep.
Done, Miss.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Morning.
Okay. So, wait. Okay, so hello. Let me introduce myself first, maybe. My name is Miss City, and I'm a certified PT academic trainer, and I've been teaching in Bansa for around 2.5 years. And here are some of my students and their activity in offline and online class. So today I'm going to explain to you pretty much all of the things about the PTE and how to do it. Jadi lebih fokusnya ke cara mengerjakan each each task of this PTE academic test. So let's start with the most important and the most interesting part. Just like Gordon and Sarah had already explained about, PTE is AI scoring test. So what makes it interesting? Because if jawaban kalian dari tes itu dikoreksi, dinilai oleh human, orang pertama itu akan bisa saja. Jadi bisa saja jawaban kalian itu dinilai berbeda tergantung si pengoreksinya. So here's an answer, and the first one will say, "Oh, that's an average answer," and you say the same exact answer to the different person, and she will say, "That's a fantastic answer." So, sementara kalau AI itu kamu memberikan jawaban yang sama, akan selalu diberikan nilai yang sama, tidak berbeda-beda, tidak subjektif. Okay, so that's a good thing. Okay, now let's just go to test structure and format. So, format. Dalam PTE, because this is a computer-based test, you will only able to move forward into the next question. Jadi tidak bisa mundur, hanya bisa maju saja ke depan. So, there is no need to menyesal di soal slide. Sorry. It means that you have to do your best on each question because you cannot go back. Okay. and there will be a timer, and you will be provided with erasable notepad and pen. So, tidak seperti universitas yang lain, di PTE ini kalian diperbolehkan untuk take notes while listening to the audio. So, it will be very, very helpful to some questions. Okay. So, di PTE seperti biasa, yang dites itu ada 4. Speaking, writing, reading, and listening. Tapi dibagi menjadi 3 bagian. Bagian yang pertama, there will be technical check and personal introduction, but it will not be scored. And on the first part is gabungan antara speaking and writing. It will take you like an hour, and the part 2 is reading, 29 to 30 minutes, and part 3 is listening. Okay, the most interesting part selain AI scoring in PTE ini adalah mereka menggunakan jenis soal yang berbeda-beda. So, here are the questions types. So, walaupun kalian sedang mengerjakan bagian speaking, so you're not only speaking. There will be integrated skill questions. Jadi yang biru-biru di sini adalah integrated skill questions. Jadi dari soal speaking misalnya, dari soal speaking itu akan dibagi menjadi 5 tipe. So, it is very interesting for me and maybe for you because it's like you're playing games with different challenge for each question. Jadi, in a way, it's not going to be boring for the test takers. So, it's very fun to do. So, for example, di sini kan ada jenis-jenis soalnya. Nah, setiap soal itu cara mengerjakannya beda-beda. Sebenarnya cara mengerjakannya itu bisa dibaca dari the question names, nama pertanyaannya gitu. Okay. There will be integrated score. Okay, nanti kita akan membahas lebih lanjut tentang integrated score itu di masing-masing bagian yang menjadi integrated skill questions. Okay, here is the overview of a speaking and reading. Read aloud, repeat sentence, describe image, read a lecture, answer short question are the speaking questions, sorry. And there will be summarized written text and write essay for writing part. And here is the reading, fill in the blanks, multiple choice, pre-order paragraph, another fill in the blanks, and another multiple choice, but this one is a single answer. And next one is listening. Wow, terlihat banyak sekali yang di listening. Ada 8 tipe, tapi sebenarnya all of these things in listening itu akan kita jumpai sebelumnya, baik itu di speaking, reading, dan juga writing. Okay, let's go to the first ones. Sample questions. Speaking. Jadi, kalau let's compare PTE with other tests. Kalau yang lain mungkin kalian akan diminta untuk answer this question, jawab pertanyaan ini, jelaskan tentang ini. Nah, in PTE itu berbeda, tidak seperti itu. Dan here's the first one, speaking overview. There will be 5 item types. Read aloud, repeat sentence, describe image, read a lecture, and also answer short questions. Nah, di sini skill tested-nya itu ada speaking for a purpose. Jadi masing-masing types ini memiliki tujuan yang berbeda-beda. There will be to repeat, to inform, and to explain. Nah, untuk di speaking ini tidak hanya penyampaian informasi saja, tapi juga penggunaan pronunciation, penekanan kata, intonasi, dan juga fluensi yang baik dan benar itu menjadi prioritas dalam pembelajaran kita. Okay, the first one is the easiest one, read aloud. So, does anyone know what is read aloud in Indonesia? Ada yang tahu read aloud itu apa? Oh, sorry, I cannot see your answer. So, okay, read aloud is membaca dengan keras. So, this is one of the integrated skill. Speaking and reading akan dinilai dalam soal read aloud ini. Nah, apa aja yang dites dari speakingnya tentu saja adalah pronunciation. You should pronounce words correctly. And you can also chunk language into sense groups. You have to follow the punctuations. Titik, koma, semuanya harus diperhatikan. And you have to use appropriate stress and intonation. So, di sini aku udah ada contoh. Jadi dia bacaannya nggak terlalu panjang, nggak terlalu pendek. It's like 2 or 3 sentence, 2 sampai 3 kalimat. Okay, here's an example. So, you can use punctuation to decide where to pause when reading. Nah, di read aloud ini, kalian juga diberikan waktu untuk latihan. Jadi, you will be given 40 seconds before the mic open. Jadi kan kalian nanti ngomongnya langsung tuh, because this is a computer-based test. Nah, kalian punya waktu 40 detik untuk mencoba terlebih dahulu. Nah, mencobanya ini dengan tujuan untuk mencari kira-kira mana unfamiliar words yang akan menghalangi kalian ketika membaca dan juga menentukan memperhatikan each punctuations. Nah, kadang kan ada kalimat yang way too long, kayak dia kalimat nggak ada komanya tapi terlalu panjang. Nah, ini juga very important to perhatikan ketika kalian latihan 40 detik pertama itu. You have to use your time before the microphone opens to break the text up into meaningful chunks. Meaningful chunks ya. Jadi ketika membagi sebuah kalimat yang terlalu panjang, itu juga kalian harus berhati-hati. Here I have an example. I will try to read it. So, it's Japanese researchers at Nagoya University have uncovered new aspects of the interaction between mass-feeding plants like bamboo and field mice. See, it's a long sentence for me, at least. Nah, jadi di sini kan kayak, aduh, aku harus bagi-bagi nih beberapa bagian sehingga pronunciation, fluency, dan juga intonasi aku nggak keganggu nih ketika membaca ini. Nah, kamu bisa bagi ke meaningful chunks. Contohnya di sini, I separate the subject. Japanese researchers at Nagoya University. Itu dia satu bagian. Ilmuwan Jepang di Universitas Nagoya have uncovered new aspects of the interaction between mass-feeding plants like bamboo and field mice. So, I separate this sentence into 3 meaningful chunks. Japanese researchers at Nagoya University have uncovered new aspects of the interaction between mass-feeding plants like bamboo and field mice. So, even though di sini nggak ada komanya, kalian tetap bisa membaginya menjadi beberapa bagian asalkan it's a meaningful chunk. Okay, so you cannot do Japanese researcher at Nagoya University have uncovered new aspect of the interaction between mass feeding. No, terutama itu akan mengganggu nilai fluency kalian. Jadi kayak pronunciation-nya oke, tapi ternyata terganggunya di intonasi dan juga fluency karena tidak membaginya menjadi meaningful chunks. Nah, jadi setelah 40 detik pertama untuk latihan tadi, you will have another 40 seconds yang dimana itu jawaban kalian akan direkam. You have to di bagian speaking ini kamu juga harus memperhatikan si waktunya ya. Nanti dia akan ada bentuknya, ada di sini. Nanti dia akan ada timer mundurnya. Nah, kalian harus perhatikan walaupun nanti ketika udah mulai merekam dia akan ada suara beep atau ping gitu. Nah, ketika suara tersebut sudah terdengar, maka jawaban kalian akan direkam. Pastikan kalian berbicara dengan intonasi yang tepat, jangan terlalu terburu-buru, tapi juga jangan terlalu pelan. Yang penting pronunciation-nya for each words itu terdengar dengan jelas. Nah, read aloud ini adalah bagian dari integrated skill tadi. Nah, karena di sini kalian tidak hanya berbicara, tapi kalian juga membaca. Jadi ada nilai membaca dan juga ada nilai speaking di satu soal. Very convenient. Okay. So that is read aloud. It's pretty simple. There will be 6 or 7 questions of read aloud dan 6 sampai 7. Very simple. Tapi jangan diremehkan. Cuma gara-gara, oh ini kan tinggal baca aja. No. You still have to practice for that. Apalagi kalau misalnya kalian jarang terpapar dengan kata-kata bahasa Inggris, tentu kalian akan mengalami halangan, rintangan dengan kata-kata yang masih tidak familiar. Nah, gimana kalau kalian ketemu dengan kata-kata yang tidak familiar ketika sedang tes? Tentu kan kalian nggak bisa open Google Translate dan cari gimana caranya nyebutinnya kan. Nah, make sure you read that exact words setahu kalian aja gitu. Dan kalian juga tidak diperbolehkan, tidak disarankan untuk mengulangi kata. For example, you know how to pronounce university, tapi kamu kesebut university. and you know that, aduh, tadi salah sebut. Nah, itu tidak disarankan untuk mengulang. Tetap lanjut aja. Okay? So that is read aloud. Very simple, tapi sangat berpengaruh juga untuk nilai speaking dan juga reading. Okay, so that is read aloud. Next, nah, it's very important juga untuk kalian mengetahui setiap bagian dari soal-soalnya, karena kan setiap questionnya ini beda-beda cara ngerjainnya. Nah, setelah read aloud, kita akan bertemu dengan yang namanya repeat sentence. There will be example of repeat sentence. So, repeat sentence.
Tomorrow's lunchtime seminar on nuclear engineering has been postponed.
Nah, itu tadi yang barusan kalian dengar adalah salah satu contoh kalimat yang disebutkan dalam repeat sentence. Nah, repeat sentence ini adalah gabungan antara speaking dan juga listening. Nah, kalian akan mendengar sebuah kalimat, kalian tadi sudah mendengar sebuah kalimat, dan tugas kalian adalah mengulangi kalimat tersebut selengkap-lengkapnya. Oke, coba kita ulang lagi ya kalimatnya. Listen carefully.
Tomorrow's lunchtime seminar on nuclear engineering has been postponed.
Can you guys hear it? So yeah, it's only one sentence, cuma satu kalimat aja. Maybe it's hard to repeat all of it correctly, perfectly. Then you can repeat like 3 or 5 words yang kalian temukan. Nah, it's very important juga untuk kalian sambil mencatat ketika mendengar audionya. Mungkin untuk di repeat sentence for some people, untuk beberapa orang kayak, I don't have enough time to mencatat, gitu kan, to take notes. Okay, then it's still fine if you don't take notes on repeat sentence, since it's just one sentence. So, yang tadi itu kalimatnya adalah, tomorrow's lunchtime seminar on nuclear engineering has been postponed. Nah, ketika menjawab si repeat sentence ini, it's very important for you to repeat it sesuai dengan urutan kalimatnya. Tadi kalimatnya adalah, tomorrow's lunchtime seminar on nuclear engineering has been postponed. Jadi, anggaplah kalian hanya mendengar tomorrow seminar nuclear postponed. Then, you have to repeat tomorrow seminar nuclear postponed. Tomorrow seminar nuclear postponed. Satu kali aja kalian repeatnya. Oke, so walaupun kalian misalnya hanya mendapatkan 3 atau 2 kata dari satu kalimat tersebut, it's okay. There will be 10 repeat sentence. Jadi kalian punya 10 kesempatan. Ada 10 kalimat yang akan dia ulangi, masing-masing itu kira-kira panjangnya audionya seperti yang tadi. It's pretty fast sometimes, but if you practice, kalau kalian banyak latihan, maka repeat sentence bisa kalian andalkan sebagai penambahan nilai untuk speaking and listening. Okay, let's listen to it one more time, maybe.
Tomorrow's lunchtime seminar on nuclear engineering has been postponed.
Tomorrow's lunchtime seminar on nuclear engineering has been postponed. Okay, so you will have 3, 2, 1 status di sini sebelum audionya mulai. Jadi kalian bisa prepare untuk take notes kalau kalian mau take notes. And remember, this is still a speaking session. Okay, ini masih di bagian speaking. So selain listening carefully, you have to speak carefully juga. Kalian harus ngomongnya tetap diperhatikan, maintain language in your memory, and also use appropriate pronunciation. Jadi pengucapannya tetap harus dijaga. Karena kalau kalian dengar tadi, dia bilang besok, tomorrow's. Oke, tapi kalian nyebutnya tomorrow. Jadi tetap akan berpengaruh juga tuh nilainya ke nilai speakingnya. Walaupun kalian dengar yang benar, tapi ketika pengucapannya salah, maka itu akan berpengaruh menjadi nilainya tidak maksimal, of course. Oke. Next, after repeat sentence. Jadi tadi ada read aloud, ada repeat sentence. Read aloud membaca dan berbicara. Repeat sentence, speaking and listening. Okay. Next we have describe image. Nah, ini speaking aja, bukan termasuk dari integrated score. Nah, describe image. Describe image is a very interesting question. Here you will see an image. Could be in the form of graph, just like this one, or literally an image, atau benar-benar gambar aja. Jadi dia bisa grafik seperti yang ada di sini, bisa bar graph, line graph, pie chart, dan teman-temannya, tapi bisa juga gambar, as in gambar sebuah rumah di tengah kota misalnya. Jadi benar-benar bisa gambar apa aja. Nah, you have to understand and interpret this image pertama-tama, oke? Pertama-tama kalian harus perhatikan dulu, oke, ini gambar apa ya? Apa yang mau dia sampaikan? Nah, apa yang harus kamu sampaikan ketika melakukan describe image ini adalah you have to describe the key points accurately. Remember, you have to describe what happened in the graph, or in the picture, or in the image. Nah, kamu juga harus tahu bahwa there are difference between mention, menyebutkan, dan juga describe. Nah, kamu tidak disarankan untuk menyebutkan saja. For example, misalnya di sini, I'll zoom a little bit so you can see. Items purchased song 0, 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105. No. Jika kalian menyebutnya seperti itu, maka itu adalah mention. It's not describing. Meanwhile, di sini kamu harus mendescribe. Okay, harus menjelaskan what happened. So here, you can focus on the main information in the image. Okay, informasi utamanya adalah yang paling kelihatan di sini adalah datanya increase. So you can say the graph shows the increasing number of songs purchased on items over a 150 weeks period. A spike on week 90 to week 150, during which the song purchases went from 200 to 1 billion. Jadi kayak dari 0 ke 30 itu kayak 0 ke 45 ke 50 itu kayak oke, stabil gitu kan. Tiba-tiba dari 200 ke 1000 dia naiknya cepat banget. So there is a spike from week 90 to week 150. Nah, nah di sini challenge-nya adalah, so each questions have their own challenge. This one, challenge-nya adalah waktu. Di describe image, kalian punya waktu 25 detik sebelum mic-nya open, sebelum suara kalian direkam, itu hanya 25 detik saja. Nah, dari 25 detik ini, kalian harus menentukan, aku mau ngomong tentang ini. There will be not enough time for you to make it into a sentence. Nggak cukup waktunya kalau kalian mau bikin kayak kalimatnya, the increasing number of songs purchased, itu mau kalian tulis, there will be not enough time. So, all you have to do ketika tes dalam 25 detik adalah, increase. Jadi, you just need to write the keyword. Increase 150 week. Nah, terus si kalimatnya itu you have to make it in your mind. Harus sudah dibuat sendiri. Nah, gimana bisa seperti itu ya, maka kalian harus banyak-banyak berlatih. Mungkin awalnya kalian butuh 3 menit untuk membuat kalimatnya, terus mundur lagi jadi 2 menit, mundur lagi jadi 1 menit, baru bisa latihan ke, I just need 25 seconds to look at the image and then I can make this sentence by myself. Describe image kuncinya adalah tahu perbedaan antara mention dan describe. You have to describe the image, not mention the things in the image. You can still use the erasable booklet to note down key ideas and phrases. Jadi soal ketiga dari speaking. Read aloud, repeat sentence, describe image. Next ini masih di speaking, namanya adalah retell lecture. So, retell lecture is a longer version of repeat sentence, di mana kalian harus mengulangi juga sama, tapi mengulanginya di sini adalah rangkuman dari apa yang dia bicarakan, dan dia akan berbicara sekitar 1 sampai 2 menit.
Now, as we all know, it has long been the habit in many countries that teachers give homework to school children of all ages. Despite the fact that a minority of educators don't agree with this practice, it has never seriously been questioned or challenged before. However, it may be that the tide is turning. These days, more people are becoming convinced that homework is of virtually no benefit, particularly for children in the younger age group. So, Why have teachers always given homework? Well, the answer seems to be because they are obliged to. Most teachers don't really believe it has any real value, and the latest research supports the teachers' feelings about this. Not only does homework have very little impact on children's learning, but it also puts unnecessary obligations and responsibilities onto the parents. These days, not all families have the time or the necessary knowledge to help their offspring. So it would seem that now senior educators want to start a new initiative. Rather than giving homework, they plan to encourage reading books of any kind, just reading. And they claim that this is a far more effective method of consolidating learning than wading through piles of written homework.
Okay, so that's an example of a retail lecture audio. Remember, you have to take notes. Okay, you have to take notes while listening to this one. Ketika repeat tadi, memang aku bilang kayak, okay, if you want to take notes, you can. But if you don't want to, then that's okay. Because it's just one sentence kan. Kayak cuma satu kalimat aja, ya udahlah nggak apa-apa kalau memang kamu nggak mau sambil catat. But this one, seperti yang sudah kamu dengar tadi, di retail lecture ini audionya is way longer. Jadi dia lebih bercerita. They are telling you something and you have to retell what the speaker talked about. So, remember, on retail lecture you have to take notes. Dan taking notes while listening to something itu juga adalah skill yang harus kalian latih, not just in the class, but during your daily life. Mungkin buat teman-teman yang kayak sudah bekerja dan sambil meeting harus sambil nyatat, mungkin sudah terbiasa dengan itu. Tapi buat yang belum terbiasa, maka kalian harus membiasakan diri dengan itu. Because note taking is very important to retail lecture. For example, from what I just heard tadi, ada beberapa keywords that I got. For example, there are homework, challenge, no benefit, children, young, no value, little impact, encourage reading, more effective. Nah, dari situ kita bisa mengetahui bahwa, oh oke, ada dua bagian nih dari retail lecture, dari lecture yang baru saja kita dengar, dari audio yang baru saja kita dengar. Di mana bagian pertama itu dia bilang bahwa homework, there is no benefit of homework for young children. Nggak ada manfaatnya nih PR untuk anak kecil. They also say something about teacher thinking the same thing, but setelah dibilang oke, homework itu nggak ada terlalu banyak manfaatnya, especially for young children, dan mereka memberikan solusi. Solusinya adalah they encourage reading, membaca aja, just reading, because it's more effective and there will be more valuable for the children, lebih bermanfaat untuk si anak-anaknya. Nah, dalam retail lecture ini, kalian juga akan dibantu oleh visual image. Jadi akan ada gambarnya. Di sini ada gambar anak kecil menulis sesuatu dan ada buku di sampingnya. Memang tadi audionya itu fokusnya ke homework dan reading. So, you have to summarize the main and supporting points. Nah, retail lecture, ingat, you have to take notes while listening to retail lecture karena audionya lebih panjang dan kamu juga harus menyampaikannya dengan lebih panjang. Okay, after you listen to the audio, you will have like 10 seconds to read your note again dan memastikan kayak, okay, I just want to talk about this, and this. Tapi yang paling penting adalah take notes. Okay, you have to listen and take notes at the same time. Itu akan sangat-sangat membantu. Karena di retail lecture, dia tidak hanya menilai pengucapan kalian, tapi dia juga menilai informasi yang bisa kalian sampaikan kembali. Semakin lengkap informasi yang bisa kalian sampaikan kembali, maka nilainya akan semakin tinggi. Okay, we'll see the last one of speaking. Answer short question. Ini juga hanya speaking. Oh yeah, sorry. The retail lecture is speaking and listening, and the last one, answer short question, is only speaking. Hanya berbicara saja, hanya menilai berbicara saja. So I would say answer short question. I consider this as a bonus question. Test takers akan mendengar 5 pertanyaan berbeda tentang pengetahuan umum, but in English. So you have to understand the question first and then answer what they ask you. So you have to have a knowledge of vocabulary to provide the response. And again, you have to still use the correct pronunciation. For example, salah satu pertanyaannya tuh biasanya seperti, what do you call, what do you call someone who designs buildings? What do you call someone who designs building? Oke, mungkin kalian akan mendengar, someone design building. Someone design building is called architect. Jadi sebenarnya dia pengetahuan umum, but maybe because this is in English, untuk sebagian orang kayak, questionnya aja aku nggak dengar, gimana aku bisa jawab. That's why I consider answer short question as a bonus point. Jadi kalau memang kalian tahu jawabannya, kalian mendengar pertanyaannya, silakan kalian jawab. Kalau memang kalian nggak terlalu mendengar questionnya, then that's okay. There are only 5 questions of answer short question. Bakal ada 5, dan kalaupun kalian menjawab dengan salah, there will be no minus point. Di speaking ini tidak ada yang poin minus, semuanya poin positif. Oke, tapi memang kalau kalian tidak maksimal, tentu nilainya juga tidak maksimal. Jadi tidak berkurang, tapi tidak maksimal. Oke, answer short question, a bonus point. Karena setelah ini kita akan bertemu ke writing. Jika kita bandingkan dengan speaking tadi, speaking ada 5 bagian. Read aloud, repeat, describe, retell, answer short question. Nah, di writing, ini cuma 2 aja. Summarize written text and also an essay. So, satu hal yang pasti, di writing ini, you have to know syarat dan ketentuan dari masing-masingnya. Okay, you have to know how to do this writing. Karena writing ini yang officialnya ya, bukan yang bagian dari integrated skill. Yang officialnya cuma 2. Kalau dibandingkan secara jumlah, tentu dia udah kalah dari yang speaking tadi, ada 5. Di writing cuma ada 2. Summarize ada 2 kali, essay bisa 1 atau 2 kali, tapi biasanya sekali. Jadi cuma ada 3 soal. Nah, you have to know how to do each question, each task. Okay? Let's go to the first one. The first one is summarize written text. Ini sebenarnya nilai gabungan lagi antara writing dan reading. Okay. Summarize written text. Summarize, summary, merangkum. Tugasnya pretty simple, merangkum. Jadi akan ada bacaan seperti ini. Not too long, maybe 2 or 3 paragraph long. Nah, di summarize written text ini kalian diberikan waktu 10 menit. Kalian diberikan waktu 10 menit. So, secara waktu, writing ini dia lumayan baik dibandingkan dengan speaking. Kalau speaking tadi kan hanya 40 detik, 25 detik. Nah, kalau di summarize written, ini 10 menit. Kalian punya waktu 10 menit, dan di summarize ini kalian pertama-tama tentu harus membaca terlebih dahulu. So, you can identify the main points and supporting points in the text. Setelah kalian baca, dia mengulang-ulang kata tentang ini. Maybe, probably, this is the main points. Kalimat utama biasanya ada di awal atau di akhir. Mungkin nggak di awal banget, mungkin di kalimat kedua, atau di akhir biasanya ada kesimpulan. Nah, you have to summarize the main and supporting points. Nah, terus syarat dan ketentuannya apa? Syarat dan ketentuannya untuk summarize written text itu, kalian hanya boleh menulis 5-75 kata dalam 1 kalimat. Dalam 1 kalimat. Nah, you have to remember dalam 1 kalimat. Berarti yang namanya kalimat should start with a capital letter at the beginning and 1 full stop at the end. Hanya boleh ada 1 titik di akhir. Nah, a lot of people itu belum mengetahui bahwa summarize ini harus dibuat dalam 1 kalimat. Nah, biasanya kalau kalian belum tahu, ya tentu kalian akan buat, ya udah buat-buat aja, yang penting summarize kan, yang penting merangkum. Enggak, kalau kalian membuat lebih dari 1 kalimat, maka nilai kalian yang tadinya bisa 7 poin, maksimalnya di summarize written text ini ada 7 poin. Kalau kalian buat lebih dari 1 kalimat, maka you probably will get 0 or 1 or the maximum score 2. Kalau kalian buat lebih dari 1 kalimat atau lebih dari 75 kata. So for summarize written text, the most important thing di sini adalah you have to know that you can only write between 5 and 75 words with capital letter at the beginning and 1 full stop at the end. Ini boleh ada 1 titik di akhir. Oke, nah jadi kita balik lagi ke sini sedikit. So you have to read this first. Kalian harus baca dulu. Baca yang benar-benar baca aja dulu, tanpa kayak nulis atau tanpa ngetik dulu. Jangan, baca dulu, pahami dulu. Coba untuk pahami. Mungkin kalian akan mengalami kayak, aduh aku nggak tahu beberapa artinya. Tapi kayak, oke, coba the whole point. Kayak secara umumnya dulu. Secara umumnya dia kira-kira tentang apa. So you only need to write 5 to 75 words. Jadi, find the main topic. The main, terus ada juga supporting points. Kenapa dia masukin main topic? Kenapa dia seperti itu? Okay, first of all you need to read, and then after you read you can write 5 to 75 words. Okay, batas maksimalnya itu adalah 75 kata. Okay, 5 to 75 words. 10 menit itu waktu yang cukup untuk membuat summarize written text yang bagus. Okay, you have to add the main and supporting points. Kalau bisa, kalian juga disarankan untuk memparafrase atau mengganti-ganti sedikit kalimat yang ada di sini. Menggunakan sinonim, menggunakan yang tadinya active sentence menjadi passive voice, seperti itu. Tapi yang paling penting adalah you have to get the main and supporting points dulu. Kalian harus ketemu dulu sama main poinnya tuh tentang apa. Oke, kalian udah nulis, tapi ternyata main poinnya ketinggalan. Nah, itu juga nggak bisa ya. Jadi kalian harus dapatkan main poinnya, tulis 5-75 kata dalam 10 menit. Oke, untuk summarize written text, remember 5 to 75 words, 1 sentence. 1 kalimat. Oke, next ada essay. Kalau summarize dari 10 menit, essay 20 menit. Nah, biasanya essay ini yang sering kali menjadi musuh terbesar untuk banyak orang, karena kayak aku nggak pernah nulis essay, bahkan dalam bahasa Indonesia pun aku jarang nulis. Gimana aku bisa nulis sebanyak ini dalam bahasa Inggris? Practice. All you need to do is practice, guys. Okay? Tenang aja, sebagian besar kesalahan yang terjadi itu ya karena dia selain grammar, of course, selain grammar adalah tidak mengetahui, again, syarat dan ketentuannya tadi. Untuk write essay ini, kalian harus membuat tulisan yang berkaitan atau menjawab. Di sini kan ada promptnya di sini, menjawab tulisan yang berkaitan dan pertanyaan ataupun pernyataan. Jadi dia bisa bentuknya question, bisa bentuknya statement. Ada 2. Salah satu di antara 2 itu. Nah, dengan minimal, you have to, nih di sini ada tulisannya, you should write 200 to 300 words. 200 sampai 300 kata. Jadi, syarat pertamanya adalah kalian harus menulis sebanyak 200 kata dalam 20 menit. Kalau kalian tidak mencapai 200 kata, maka yang terjadi adalah bukan pengurangan poin, tapi poinnya tidak maksimal. Di mana seharusnya kalian bisa mendapatkan 15 poin, gara-gara nggak sampai 200 kata, mungkin kalian hanya bisa menulis 50 sampai 100 kata, maka kalian maksimalnya hanya bisa mendapatkan 2 poin. Sayang banget. Oke? So, writing ini sebenarnya yang dites adalah you have to understand the question prompt. Jadi kalian harus pertama-tama tentu saja memahami dulu. Di sini tulisannya, education is a critical element of the prosperity of any nation. The more educated the people in the country are, the more successful their nation becomes. Discuss the extent to which you agree or disagree with the statement, support your point of view with reasons and or examples from your own experience or observations. Nah, you have to write in an argumentative or persuasive essay and understanding essay structure. Jadi kalian harus pahami dulu strukturnya apa, dan kalian diminta untuk berargumen atau to persuade someone. Untuk kayak, oke, aku mau menyampaikan ini, kamu harus percaya sama aku. And you have to develop a logical structure. Jadi harus logis nih, jangan oke, ini opening, terus tiba-tiba contoh, terus tiba-tiba kesimpulan, terus tiba-tiba ada lagi pendapat lagi. Nah, itu tidak logis. Oke? You have to show range, accuracy, and appropriateness of the language. Nah, jadi students maybe ask whether they agree or disagree. Kalau yang tadi kan agree atau disagree, kayak kamu setuju nggak dengan pendapat ini? Kamu setuju nggak dengan statement ini? With this statement, you have to support your point of view with reasons or your own experience or observations. Nah, jadi kalau kalian diminta untuk, oh, do you agree or disagree? You have to answer. Kamu harus jawab dan tentukan apakah kamu setuju atau enggak dengan pernyataan ini. Education is a critical element of the prosperity of any nation. The more educated the people a country are, the more successful it becomes. Oh, oke. Kalian pertama-tama tentu harus pahami dulu nih. Pahami dulu pernyataannya, pahami dulu dengan pertanyaannya. Dia nanya apa sih sebenarnya? Oke. Maybe you will spend like 1 or 2 minutes untuk memahaminya, 1-2 menit untuk memahami pernyataannya. Nah, with this statement, oke. Aku setuju deh. Ya, I agree. Nah, baru plan. You have to plan what you're going to write. Kamu harus membuat rencana dulu. Oke, aku setuju. Setujunya kenapa ya? Setuju karena ini. Terus contohnya apa? Jadi ada 3 hal yang penting. Kamu harus, oke, saya setuju. What's your reason? Oke, kamu setuju? Oke, alasanmu apa? Kenapa kamu setuju? Kenapa kamu nggak setuju? Karena ini. Oke, contohnya? Nah, memberikan contoh itu juga salah satu poin penting untuk bisa mencapai 200 kata. Karena, oke, mungkin alasan nggak terlalu banyak. Oh iyalah, negara bisa sukses kalau misalnya orangnya pintar. Cuma gitu aja. Tapi kalau kalian memberikan contoh, apa yang terjadi kalau enggak? Apa yang akan terjadi kalau there are less educated people in a country? Jadi contoh itu yang bisa membantu kalian untuk mencapai 200 kata, in my opinion. Karena dengan contoh kalian bisa menceritakan apa yang terjadi maybe in your own country atau in other country. Atau di negara lain. Itu. Jadi esai yang perlu kalian ingat adalah apapun yang terjadi, sampaikan ke 200 kata. Gimana caranya? Banyak-banyak latihan. Tidak hanya latihan menulis, kalian juga banyak-banyak membaca, sehingga kalian lebih memahami developing logical structure, showing range of accuracy and appropriateness of language. Jadi dengan banyak-banyak membaca, itu juga kalian bisa dapat vocabulary baru, terus mungkin conjunction words baru, kata-kata yang bisa kalian gunakan nanti ketika kalian diminta untuk membuat esai. Oke. Beres part 1. Part 1, speaking and writing, done. Jadi, tadi speaking ada 5. Read aloud, repeat sentence, describe image, retell lecture, answer short question. Esai ada 2. Writing ada 2. Summarize written text dan juga esai. Okay. 7 questions. Done. Oke, kita masuk ke part 2. Part 2 ini adalah reading. Nah, di reading ini terbagi menjadi 5 jenis soal lagi. Nah, seperti main game, maka di part 2 ini challenge-nya bertambah. Kalau tadi di speaking and writing masing-masing punya waktunya sendiri, di reading ini you will only have 30 minutes to do all of it. Kalian cuma punya waktu 30 menit untuk kerjain semuanya. Dan ingat, di PTI tadi di awal apa? Nggak bisa mundur. Ya, jadi kalian hanya bisa mengerjakan satu demi satu, jangan sampai ada yang ketinggalan. Jangan sampai ada yang ketinggalan, jangan sampai ada yang nggak dijawab, karena nggak bisa mundur. Oke? Oke, 30 menit harus mengerjakan 5 jenis soal ini. Tapi 5 soal ini berangkat lagi. Jadi banyak soalnya. Tapi tenang aja, bisa. Oke. So, the first one, di reading, ini ada 2 fill in the blanks. Mungkin kalian cukup familiar ya dengan format fill in the blanks seperti ini. Nah, format yang pertama seperti ini, reading and writing fill in the blanks. Nah, dari namanya udah kelihatan, ada integrated skill lagi, reading and writing. Jadi tidak hanya memberikan nilai untuk reading, dia juga bisa nambahin nilai writing kamu. Kok bisa si fill in the blanks ini menjadi reading and writing? karena di reading and writing fill in the blanks, ini tuh blanks-nya atau si kosong-kosongnya ini diisi tidak hanya dengan pengetahuan vocabulary, noun, verb, adjective yang seperti itu, tapi juga harus sesuai dengan grammar yang baik dan benar. Choices that include grammar yang tentu di dalamnya ada tenses, preposition, articles, conjunction, dan teman-temannya. Oke? Nah, kalau di sini misalnya ini salah satu contohnya bukan yang ini ya, bukan yang bisa dilihat dari grammar atau tensesnya. Tapi beberapa itu bisa kalian lihat, sepertinya ini kalau ketemu ini butuhnya noun, ini butuhnya verb, ini butuhnya adjective, seperti itu. Atau kayak, this one is a singular, sehingga verb one-nya butuh bantuan S atau ES. Okay, so reading and writing. Kok bisa ada nilai writing-nya? Karena ada penilaian, karena pilihannya itu menyangkut dengan grammar. Next, fill in the blanks. Nah, fill in the blanks yang kedua ini dia cuma reading aja. Kenapa reading aja? Karena dia lebih fokusnya ke kosakata. So, all of these questions will give you lots of points. Ini dua pertanyaan ini, reading and writing fill in the blank atau reading fill in the blank, dua-duanya akan memberikan kalian banyak sekali poin. Kok bisa banyak poin? Karena dari reading and writing fill in the blanks, setiap blanknya itu memberikan kalian 1 poin jika benar. Kalau salah gimana? Kalau salah nggak ada minusnya, tenang, aman. Jadi pastikan, walaupun kalian belum tahu pasti, aduh ini jawabannya benar atau enggak ya, tetap dijawab aja. Oke, jangan ditinggalin jawabannya. Fill in the blanks. Nah, kalau 1 blank 1 poin, di satu soal ada 3 blank nih contohnya di sini. Nah, ada berapa soal reading and writing? Reading and writing fill in the blank bisa 4 to 5 questions. 4 sampai 5 soal. Nah, kalau yang ini, di readingnya ini ada misalnya, again, 3 sampai 5 blank, soalnya 3 sampai 4 soal. So, hitung-hitung, maybe you can get 20 points alone just by doing reading and writing fill in the blanks dan juga reading fill in the blanks. Ya, jadi di reading mau di fill in the blanks mau yang reading aja atau yang sama writing, ini dua-duanya bisa mendatangkan kalian banyak poin. Kalau kalian memang terbiasa membaca, mempunyai vocabulary yang luas, mengetahui grammar-grammar dasar, tenses, itu tentu akan memberikan kalian banyak sekali poin. Okay, so fill in the blanks. Next, we have, here's the tips. Tadi, academic collocations, tulis. There will be, you can catat ini ada linknya. Academic collocation list, jadi bisa digunakan untuk fill in the blanks. Okay, next, setelah fill in the blanks yang familiar ada multiple choice. Multiple choice ini classic. This is a very classic reading. Nggak cuma di PTE, mungkin kalian pernah ketemu di sekolah di mana itu rata-rata kan pertanyaannya ABC. Nah, untuk di PTE, multiple choice-nya dibagi menjadi 2. Yang pertama ini ada single answer, which ya jawabannya hanya ada 1 dan bacaannya tidak terlalu panjang. Nah, pastikan kalian sudah membaca pertanyaannya terlebih dahulu. Kalau aku tipe yang lebih suka baca pertanyaannya dulu. Lalu, setelah baca pertanyaannya, if you read the question, 1% indicator of climate change in Australia. Okay, berarti we have to find the indicator of climate change in Australia. Baru kalian baca teksnya. Sehingga kalian tidak membuang-buang waktu. Ingat, kita hanya punya 30 menit untuk melakukan semuanya, so you don't waste your time dengan membaca. Bisa baca lagi pertanyaan, baca lagi tulisannya. Baca pertanyaannya dulu, baru baca teksnya. Okay? So you have to identify the main idea, case details, purpose, attitude, inference by skimming and scanning. Jadi, oke, baca pertanyaannya, baca questionnya, tentukan pilihannya. Oke, tentukan pilihannya. So, single answer, jawabannya hanya ada 1. Kalau benar, dapat 1 poin. Nah, next. Nah, ini agak beda nih. We have multiple choice, choose, multiple answer. Nah, multiple choice ini juga sama, ABC lagi, tapi ada multiple answer. Nah, multiple choice, multiple answer. Nah, di sini kalian bisa memilih lebih dari satu jawaban. Biasanya 1 sampai 3 jawaban. Tapi satu hal yang ingin aku ingatkan di sini adalah multiple choice, multiple answer. Ada poin minusnya. Jadi jangan jawab asal-asal, karena ini ada poin minusnya. Oke, jadi anggaplah jawaban dari yang ini adalah yang pertama dan kedua, A dan B. Tapi ternyata kalian jawab C, dan you will get minus point. Minus 1. Itu. Jadi harus hati-hati di multiple choice, multiple answer. Ini kalian harus lebih berhati-hati karena ada minusnya. Oke, jadi kalau kalian mau jawab, aku jawab 1 aja. It's okay. Yang penting kalian yakin dengan jawaban itu. Walaupun kalian bisa memilih lebih dari satu jawaban. Oke. Next, last but not least, ada reorder paragraphs. Nah, mungkin kelihatannya asing ya kalau kita lihat kayak gini, reorder paragraph. Belum pernah kalian lihat sebelumnya. Tapi sebenarnya reorder paragraph ini tuh pelajaran yang dulu mungkinnya di sekolah kalian belajar bahasa Inggris, biasanya ada rearrange words, ada kata-kata yang tidak beraturan. Terus gimana caranya kata-kata ini menjadi kalimat yang baik dan benar. Nah, konsep si reorder paragraph itu juga sama seperti itu. Jadi dari 5 kalimat ini, kalian bisa pindahkan ke box yang sebelah dengan urutan yang baik dan benar. Nah, biasanya untuk reorder paragraph ini dimulai dengan topik perkenalan secara umum. Topik perkenalan secara umum dan diakhiri dengan kesimpulan atau contoh. Nah, kalian harus berhati-hati dengan kalimat-kalimat yang seperti in addition, however, after all. Nah, contoh 3 kalimat yang dimulai dengan however, in addition, after all, itu adalah kalimat yang bisa langsung kalian eliminasi, nggak mungkin ditaruh di awal. Kemungkinannya kecil banget untuk ditaruh di awal. Oke, karena dia ada sambungannya. Kalau ada sambungannya, berarti sebelumnya ada kata lain. Kalau misalnya di kalimat yang tidak beraturan, kalian bisa mulai dengan subject, kan? Mulai dengan subject, lalu ada to be, lalu ada ini, ada ini, ada ini. Nah, kalau di reorder paragraph, ini kalian mulai dengan kalimat yang paling umum. Contohnya di sini, kalimat yang paling umum di antara 5 ini, however, udah pasti bukan by, karena dia however, bagaimanapun juga. Mulai-mulai dengan bagaimanapun juga nggak bisa. Terus in addition to the effect, sebagai tambahan. Mau nambahin apa? Kan kita belum ngomongin apa-apa. No, berarti. Oke, check. Traffic used to be a serious problem affecting people living in and around the French town of Milan. Sounds good. Untuk menjadi kalimat pertama, nah kalian boleh pindahkan C, pindah ke box yang dari box source, pindah ke box target. Okay, traffic used to be a serious problem affecting people living in and around the French town of Milan. Nah, dari situ pelan-pelan kalian bisa lanjutkan kalimatnya sampai kalimat terakhir. Nah, kalimat pertama itu yang paling umum. Kalimat terakhir biasanya ini adalah kesimpulan. Kalimat terakhir biasanya kesimpulan, contoh, hasil, seperti itu. Jadi yang paling kelihatan itu sebenarnya dari kalimat pertama dan juga kalimat terakhir. Oke. Nah, terus selanjutnya adalah listening. Yang terakhir kita cepat aja di listening ini karena kenapa? Karena dari 8 ini itu rata-rata udah kita ketemu sebelumnya. The first one is summarize spoken text. Summarize spoken text ini gabungan antara reorder paragraph sama summarize 10 menit. Jadi akan dengar audio, terus di sini cara menjawabnya adalah menulis. You have to write the answer. Nah, kalau udah ada writing, berarti ada syarat dan ketentuan lagi. Di summarize spoken text, ketentuannya adalah you have to write 50 words, at least 50 kata. Oke, di summarize spoken text, kalian punya 10 menit untuk menulis 50 kata. Dari mana sumber 50 kata itu? Dari audio yang diputar nanti. Oke, that's summarize, and we go to another multiple choice. Ada ketemu lagi sama multiple choice, single or multiple answers, tapi bedanya di sini teksnya nggak ada, jadi kalian nggak bisa baca teksnya, tapi kalian mendengar audio sebagai sumber dari jawabannya. You have to remember still, same. You have to read the question first. Apalagi ini kalian nggak bisa baca ulang, kalian nggak bisa dengar ulang, hanya bisa mendengar sekali saja. Okay. Next one, fill in the blanks. Ketemu lagi kita sama fill in the blanks, tapi di sini fill in the blanks-nya pakai audio. Jadi lebih nggak mikir dibandingkan dengan fill in the blanks yang di reading. As long as kalian nggak ketinggalan. Nah, kalau dari listening ini hati-hati jangan sampai ketinggalan. Okay, fill in the blanks, then we'll have highlight, correct, summary. Ketemu lagi sama summary. Ada lagi si summary. Tapi summary yang ini, summary-nya udah ada, si rangkumannya udah ada. Tugas kalian hanya mencatat keywords. Again, kalian masih bisa mencatat keywords di sini. Lalu kalian cocokkan dengan pilihannya. Oke? Nih. Jadi kalian bisa catat ya, model self motivation, normal detail, model, main fokus model. Oke. Lalu kalian cocokkan, oh kira-kira di antara yang ini, itu mana ya yang paling oke, yang mana yang paling merangkum. Oke. Next we have select missing word. Nah di select missing word ini cukup unik karena kalian akan mendengar sebuah audio mungkin 3-4 kalimat, 3-4 kalimat. Nah terus di ending kalimatnya itu ada beep. Nah, kalian harus mencari kira-kira si beep itu apa ya. Gitu. To select missing word, and then we have highlight incorrect words. This one is fun word, karena yang penting kalian seperti kayaknya tadi udah dikasih contoh sama Mr. Gordon. Kalau kalian tinggal mengikuti aja dengan kursornya di sini ada kalimatnya. Jadi ini kayak reverse fill in the blanks. Jadi kayak kebalikan dari fill in the blanks. Di sini kalian mencari kata yang tidak sesuai. The last one is write from dictation. Nah, walaupun ini namanya beda, tapi ini sebenarnya sama kayak repeat sentence yang di awal tadi, yang di awal banget di speaking, write from dictation. Write from dictation ini juga menurutku adalah soal bonus. Kenapa? Karena di write from dictation ini misalnya ada dia ngomong 10 kata. Nah, masing-masing dari kata ini memegang 1 poin. Jadi at least kalian bisa dapat 3-5 kata, maka kalian bisa dapat 3-5 poin selama penulisannya benar ya, selama penulisannya benar. Okay, now testing this. Okay, I think that's all from me. Untuk overall, maybe it's not too in-depth, karena if you want to do in-depth, you can go to my class. So, di sini penjelasan tentang si PTE dan apa yang harus kalian lakukan di setiap soal PTE, because there are a lot of question types seperti yang udah kita lihat tadi, ada banyak banget tipe-tipenya, tapi jangan jadikan itu sebagai beban, karena dengan memiliki banyak tipe, itu artinya kalian punya banyak kesempatan. Oh, mungkin aku agak kurang di bagian yang sama listening, ya udah kalian maksimalkan di bagian yang sini. Jadi kalian bisa melihat kemampuan kalian sendiri, dan untuk penilaiannya juga lebih fair, lebih adil. Okay, I think that's all from me. Wait a minute, let me stop sharing. Okay, I think that's all from me. I will go kembalikan ke Mr. Budi.
Alright, thank you, Miss Siti, for your presentation about PTE. It's comprehensive, and I think we go to the next session. The last session is about Q&A. Maybe you guys want to know about anything besides the presentation from Miss Siti? All right, there's some question from Dwiki. Are you guys wanna on mic? Just put your guys in. Just raise your hand, guys. Maybe I can read the question, Miss. Okay, what about write from dictation? Should it be capitalized at the beginning? Does it affect your score? From Dwiki. Maybe you can answer it, Miss.
Answer it right away?
Okay.
Okay, so yes, this is a very interesting point from Mr. Dwiki. Thank you for asking. So what about write from dictation? Yang soal terakhir tadi, soal terakhir dari listening, which I also say is a bonus point karena you will get a lot of point if you get it correctly. And yes, kalau kalian yakin kata tersebut adalah beginning of the sentence, itu adalah kata pertama yang kalian dengar, maka harus dimulai dengan huruf kapital. Dan kalau kalian yakin bahwa kata tersebut adalah kata terakhir, maka harus dilengkapi dengan titik, full stop. So, for example, tadi misalnya kita ambil yang di ini ya, kita ambil yang di repeat sentence tadi. Kalimatnya adalah tomorrow's lunchtime seminar on nuclear engineering has been postponed. Tomorrow-nya maka dengan T besar. Terus misalnya kalian tadi cuma dapat tomorrow's nuclear postpone. Nah, postpone-nya itu adalah kalimat terakhir. Aku tahu banget itu adalah kata terakhir, maka postpone full stop. Seperti itu. Semoga itu menjawab. Thank you.
All right, and there's some other question. I think this for Gordon, I think. Kak, presentation tadi filenya boleh minta nggak sih? Gordon, can we share the presentation that Miss Siti have? You're muted, Gordon, sorry.
So the question is, can you share CT's presentation?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oke, Kak, bakal aku share ya. And, anyone, guys? I think, yeah, we can go to the last session is we can take a picture with Gordon, I think. Okay, guys, I think that's all from Bansa and team. There's Sir Adib, Miss Siti, and Mr. Ryan, and also Gordon from Pearson. Thank you guys for
you.
your time. And maybe we can take a picture on my count. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, and 3. All right, last one. 1, 2, and 3. All right, thank you guys for your time. I think that's all. Good morning and happy weekend, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Thank you,
Gordon.
Gordon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye. Have a good one.